We believe Monadnock is originally an Abenaki word, and most of the translations I'm familiar with are some version of the mountain that stands alone because of its isolation in this region. If you're going up Mount Monadnock, as I've done a few times, and I get to the top and I look over it, I can put on different lenses depending on what time in the past I'm thinking about. If you're the first people here 11,000 years ago, and you're on top of that mountain and you can see for 100 miles in every direction, you're seeing these enormous lakes of water that no longer exist because they turned into rivers. You're seeing huge herds of caribou, thousands of animals moving across the landscape, maybe 20 or 50 miles away. And then if you jump forward another 5,000 years, and you're a different native person up on top of the mountain, you're seeing a very different set of sights, and you're thinking about it very differently. You're seeing woodland, not everywhere, because there were some places where native people intentionally used fire to burn down mature forests and create undergrowth to support herds of deer. But if you're looking around the landscape, you're looking out toward the Sawyer's Crossing region of Swansea, and you're seeing smoke spiraling up into the air, and you're looking at that and you're thinking, yeah, I know who those people are. Those are my cousins, or that's my uncle. And so you're seeing a combination of the natural geography, but also the cultural geography, the places where native people are living, and thinking about those two as interrelated.
There were fires. I don't know if it was necessarily set to drive out the wolves. That makes a good story. I'm sure fires were set because back in the 1800s, a lot of people burned areas to open up for pasture and for land. And how did a fire get a start on Monadnock? Well, most likely it wasn't lightning, but it could have been. But I'm sure the woods in that higher area because of the sheep and the pastures. And I know where the last wolf that was killed in the area was killed, and it was just south of us here on a meadow where there's an old dam. It was denuded, heavy rains, erosion, and everything else has happened, wind on the mountain, and just worn it right down to the mica schist that sits there today.
Many feet in summer seek oft my far appearing peak, and wouldst be my companion. Where I gaze and still shall gaze through tempering nights and flashing days, let him heed who can and will. Enchantment fixed me here, to stand the hurts of time until in mightier chant I disappear. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Now that poem goes on for 5 or 6 pages and talks about Monadnock and all its glory. And sometimes, as it was there, it's the actual voice of the mountain speaking through the poet. And it was a poem that every school child knew 100 years ago. It was a poem that a lot of people memorized. And on the porch of the halfway house, as people were sitting there when the sun went down, someone could always be counted on to know that poem and recite it. And everyone would listen to it in that group of people on the porch of the halfway house.
When I am painting the mountain, there's some facet of it that has struck me, and it's usually, for me, it's light. There's some beam of light, or there's some flow of light over the mountain in a particular way that catches me, and that's what I try to capture on the canvas. We need to preserve Mount Monadnock, not only for the people and for the community here and for what it sort of represents, because it sort of watches over us, I think, in a kind of a unique way.
People see it as for its history, for its connections with Thoreau and with Emerson and with Abbot Thayer and famous painters and things. So people travel a long way to come here to hike a mountain that's really become famous, not because it's a mountain, but because it's a literary icon.
The feelings that I have when you get on the summit is a humbling experience. You look at how small you really are when you look at the view that surrounds you and the rugged rocks and boulders. that you are probably a very small organism in the whole scheme of what's out there in this world.
Every day I look at the mountain. The first thing I look at is the mountain. And it's just so beautiful. It's all by itself. It's changing constantly. It's fascinating to watch all day long. You can sit there and watch the colors change, or watch the lighting, or watch clouds, or watch storms come over, and you watch the snow coming till it finally hits you. It's just thrilling.
There were no roads at all leading to Mount Monadnock. Our job was the beginning of clearing the land facing Mount Monadnock. And we cleared and cleared. We worked till midnight and even longer.